Hello fans! Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the latest drama unfolding in Port Charles as we explore the emotional turmoil, hidden hopes, and unexpected turns for some of our favorite characters. From Jordan Ashford's flickering dreams of reconciliation to Michael Corinthus's heartfelt catch-up with Jason Morgan, and Trina Robinson's fierce determination to right a wrong, there's no shortage of intrigue in Friday's episode, airing on June 20th. Buckle up as we unpack these storylines with fresh perspectives, additional layers of detail, and imaginative twists that promise to keep you on the edge of your seat. Jordan Ashford's heartfelt confession and a glimmer of hope. In the heart of Port Charles, Deputy Mayor Jordan Ashford finds herself wrestling with a storm of emotions that she can no longer keep buried. On this pivotal day, she seeks solace in a long-overdue conversation with her trusted confidant, Anna Devane, at a quiet corner of the Metro Court Hotel's lounge, where the clinking of coffee cups masks the weight of their discussion. Jordan pours her heart out, revealing the cracks in Curtis Ashford's marriage to Portia Robinson. With a heavy sigh, she admits she's torn caught between lingering feelings for Curtis and the guilt of hoping his marriage might crumble. It's a raw, vulnerable moment for Jordan, whose stoic exterior often hides the depth of her pain. She describes to Anna how every shared glance with Curtis at recent town events reignites memories of their passionate past, from late-night stakeouts to tender moments stolen amidst chaos. Anna, ever the compassionate friend, listens intently, her eyes reflecting both empathy and caution. She reassures Jordan that it's human to feel conflicted, to yearn for a second chance at a love that once defined her life. However, Anna also delivers a stern piece of advice over her untouched cappuccino. Jordan must tread carefully and maintain a respectful distance from the fragile situation between Curtis and Portia. Let Curtis figure out his path, Anna urges, suggesting that if a reunion is meant to be, it should happen organically, without Jordan inserting herself into the drama. Anna even recounts a personal anecdote from her own tumultuous romantic history with Valentin Casadini, highlighting how interference often breeds more heartbreak than hope. As viewers, we can't help but root for Jordan's happiness, especially given Portia's recent overbearing attitude during hospital board meetings, which has grated on many in Port Charles. Could this heartfelt exchange with Anna be the nudge Jordan needs to either pursue her desires or finally let go? Only time will tell. But the tension is palpable. Michael Corinthus and Jason Morgan reconnect over family bonds. Elsewhere in town, at the cozy yet bustling Corinthus coffee shop, Michael Corinthus takes a moment to sit down with Jason Morgan for a much-needed update. The aroma of freshly brewed espresso fills the air as the two men settle into a booth, their conversation quickly turning to personal matters that weigh heavily on Michael's mind. With a mix of pride and concern, Michael shares the latest developments about his family, particularly focusing on the newest addition, little Daisy, the baby under Sasha Gilmore's care. Jason, ever the silent observer with a keen protective streak, listens as Michael navigates the complex emotions of being somewhat distanced from Daisy's day-to-day life. Michael admits he's still grappling with Sasha's role as the primary decision-maker, a dynamic that leaves him feeling like an outsider peering through a window at his own child's milestones. Jason, leaning forward with a furrowed brow, questions Michael directly, "Are you really okay with this arrangement?" His tone carries a blend of concern and curiosity, reflecting his own history of yearning for connection with his children despite dangerous circumstances. Michael hesitates, then confesses that while he trusts Sasha's intentions, he aches for more involvement. He recalls a recent moment at the park near the Quartermain mansion when his other children, Wiley and Amelia, giggled with Daisy during a sunny afternoon picnic, those fleeting seconds of joy reminding him how crucial it is for all his kids to grow up bonded as siblings. He's determined to be present for Daisy's first steps, her first words, even if it means negotiating boundaries with Sasha. Jason nods, offering a rare piece of advice drawn from his own regrets: don't let distance become a habit. Fight for every moment you can get. This exchange not only deepens their friendship but also underscores Michael's quiet resolve to balance respect for Sasha with his paternal instincts. As fans, we hope this conversation sparks a renewed effort from Michael to carve out a meaningful role in Daisy's life, ensuring that family ties remain unbroken amidst life's complications. Trina Robinson takes a stand against injustice. Meanwhile, Trina Robinson is a force to be reckoned with as her frustration reaches a boiling point in the wake of a devastating setback for her friend, Kai Taylor. At Kelly's diner, over a shared plate of fries, Trina's anger spills over as she confides in Jocelyn Jacks about the crushing blow to Kai's aspiration. Kai, a talented young artist with dreams of showcasing his work in a prestigious local gallery, saw those hopes shattered when Drew Quartermain's so-called assistance backfired spectacularly. Drew, with his polished promises and influential connections, had offered to pull strings for a follow-up meeting with gallery curators after an initial rejection. However, his interference only deepened Kai's despair, as the curators dismissed his portfolio with harsher critique, hinting that Drew's involvement made Kai seem overly reliant on nepotism rather than raw talent. Trina's voice trembles with indignation as she recounts Kai's tearful phone call after the meeting, describing how he felt humiliated and doubted his own worth as an artist. Jocelyn, equally outraged, slams her hand on the table, declaring that someone needs to stop Drew from meddling further in people's lives with his half-baked schemes. Trina's eyes flash with determination as she responds, "Somebody will. Count on it." Her words carry a fierce promise, hinting at a plan brewing in her mind to confront Drew and set things right for Kai. Perhaps Trina is considering organizing a grassroots art event at the community center, showcasing Kai's work alongside other local talents to prove his merit without Drew's tarnished influence. Or maybe she's gearing up to call Drew out publicly at the next town gathering, exposing how his help often harms more than it heals. As viewers, we're thrilled to see Trina channel her heartbreak into action, embodying the strength and loyalty that make her a beloved character. Her resolve is a beacon of hope for Kai, who deserves a chance to rebuild his confidence and chase his dreams on his own terms. Drew Quartermain's dubious offer to Kai Taylor. Speaking of Drew, the man himself isn't done stirring the pot. Later in the episode, Kai pays a reluctant visit to Drew's office at Aurora Media, the sleek modern decor contrasting sharply with Kai's slumped posture and defeated expression. Kai updates Drew on the disastrous follow-up with the gallery, his voice laced with frustration as he admits the curator's rejection cut deeper than ever. Drew, seated behind his imposing desk, offers a sympathetic nod, his face a mask of concern that might even be genuine for once. He expresses disappointment for Kai's sake, perhaps reflecting on his own failures to secure outcomes despite his best intentions. Yet, true to form, Drew can't resist meddling further. Leaning back in his chair with a calculated glint in his eye, he suggests, "There might be something else I can offer you." What exactly does Drew have up his sleeve? Rumor has it he might propose a position as his personal assistant, a role that would keep Kai close and under his thumb, far from the art world spotlight. Alternatively, Drew could pivot to exploiting Kai's athletic background, pushing him toward a coaching gig with a local youth football team, a complete departure from Kai's true passion. Whatever Drew's idea, it's likely to come with strings attached, as his track record of helping often leads to manipulation rather than genuine support. Kai, still reeling from his recent humiliation, might be tempted by any lifeline, but we're crossing our fingers he sees through Drew's facade. Perhaps a pep talk from Trina or a moment of self-reflection in the quiet of his art studio surrounded by half-finished canvases that speak to his soul will remind Kai to trust his own path. Drew's offers rarely end well, and Kai deserves better than being another pawn in his endless games of control. Wrapping up the drama in Port Charles. As Friday's episode of General Hospital draws near, the intertwining stories of Jordan, Michael, Trina, and Kai promise a tapestry of emotion, conflict, and resilience. Jordan's inner struggle over Curtis pulls at our heartstrings, urging us to question whether love can or should triumph over past hurts. Michael's determination to stay connected with Daisy reminds us of the unbreakable bonds of family, even when circumstances complicate the journey. Trina's fiery spirit ignites hope for justice and redemption, while Kai's encounter with Drew serves as a cautionary tale about trusting the wrong allies. Each character faces crossroads that could reshape their futures in Port Charles, and we can't wait to see how these narratives unfold. Next, we will uncover the electrifying twists and turns awaiting us in the June 17th episode of General Hospital, where espionage, deception, and unexpected romance collide in the bustling world of Port Charles. From Jocelyn Jack's risky undercover maneuvers with her WSB handler Vaughn to Emma Scorpio Drake's scheming ambitions and the potential fallout of secrets unraveling. This episode is packed with high stakes and sizzling chemistry. Join us as we delve deeper into each moment, weaving in fresh details, inventive subplots, and vivid imagery to bring these storylines to life in a way that will keep you hooked until the very last scene. A dangerous disguise and a heated cover story. In the hallowed halls of Professor Henry Dalton's university office, tension crackles like static before a storm as Jocelyn Jacks and her WSB handler, Vaughn, narrowly evade suspicion. Disguised as a janitor in a faded blue uniform, Vaughn sweeps the floor near Dalton's desk, his eyes darting for any sign of incriminating documents, while Jocelyn pretends to organize research notes as part of her lab assistant cover. Their carefully constructed charade nearly crumbles when Emma Scorpio Drake, ever the curious and opportunistic student, strolls in unannounced, her sharp gaze locking onto the unfamiliar janitor. In a split-second decision, fueled by adrenaline and desperation, Jocelyn pulls Vaughn into an impulsive kiss, their lips crashing together in a fox display of passion meant to justify his presence. The air thickens with unspoken questions as Emma's eyebrows shoot up, though the ruse seems to hold for now. The faint scent of Vaughn's cologne lingers as Jocelyn steps back, her heart pounding not just from the close call but from a flicker of something more unexpected. As Vaughn slips out under the guise of returning to his duties, Jocelyn and Emma face off in a verbal sparring match that crackles with barely veiled hostility. Emma, twirling a strand of her dark hair with a sly smile, muses aloud about whether she should inform Professor Dalton of Jocelyn's suspicious behavior. She dangles the possibility of claiming the coveted research assistant position for herself, suggesting that Dalton might favor her diligence over Jocelyn's apparent distractions. With a smirk, Emma reveals the price of her silence. Jocelyn must vacate the office immediately, relinquishing her access to Dalton's inner sanctum. Jocelyn, her jaw tight, probes for clarity on Emma's demands, only to be met with a cold, unwavering insistence that she step aside. The power play leaves Jocelyn seething, her mind racing to protect her mission while grappling with the personal sting of Emma's betrayal. As fans, we're left wondering if Emma's ambition will blind her to the larger dangers at play or if Jocelyn can outmaneuver her rival before their clash derails everything. Emma's flirtatious gambit with a shady professor. Moments later, the dynamic shifts as Professor Dalton himself enters his office, catching Emma still lingering amidst the cluttered shelves of academic journals. The atmosphere turns syrupy with calculated charm as Emma, ever quick to adapt, flashes a dazzling smile and leans in with a flirtatious lilt to her voice. She compliments Dalton's groundbreaking research on genetic modifications, her words dripping with feigned admiration as she bats her eyelashes. With a coy tilt of her head, she requests a personal tour of his highly secured lab space rumored among students to house controversial experiments funded by shadowy investors. Dalton, however, isn't easily swayed, his stern expression barely softening as he declines her request with a curt shake of his head, citing confidentiality. His cold rebuff hints at the darker underbelly of his work, leaving Emma undeterred but visibly frustrated as she exits the office, her mind undoubtedly spinning with alternative ways to infiltrate his world. This brief but charged encounter paints Dalton as a man guarding more than just scientific secrets, perhaps aware that curious eyes like Emma's could threaten his carefully constructed facade. Emma, on the other hand, reveals her knack for manipulation, willing to wield charm as a weapon to get what she wants. Could her persistence lead her into dangerous territory, crossing paths with forces far beyond a mere academic rivalry? As viewers, we're captivated by the possibility that Emma's meddling might unearth truths about Dalton that even Jocelyn and Vaughn haven't yet uncovered, setting the stage for an explosive collision of agendas, poolside passion, and a risky new plan. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the sun-dappled Metro Court pool, where the scent of chlorine and blooming hibiscus fills the air as Jocelyn approaches Vaughn under the guise of a casual encounter. The tension from their earlier close call still simmers beneath the surface, erupting into a steamy and guarded kiss as soon as they're out of prying eyes, a kiss that feels less like a cover and more like a genuine spark. Pulling back with a playful smirk, Jocelyn instructs Vaughn to keep a grin on his face because, as of now, they're officially dating in the eyes of anyone watching. But her light-hearted tone quickly darkens as she admits they've got a big problem on their hands. Over the gentle lapping of the pool water, she updates Vaughn on Emma's threat to expose Dalton's unethical dealings, a move that could jeopardize their entire WSB mission if Emma acts recklessly. Vaughn, his expression hardening, reminds Jocelyn of the broader implications, particularly how her grandmother, Anna Devane, a seasoned WSB veteran, might react. If Anna senses any danger surrounding Emma, her protective instincts could drive her to confront Dalton directly, potentially spooking him and blowing their undercover operation wide open. Jocelyn, ever resourceful, proposes a daring solution. Vaughn should infiltrate Emma's animal rights group, a passionate student organization rumored to protest Dalton's lab practices due to suspected animal testing. By posing as a sympathetic activist, Vaughn could keep tabs on Emma's plans and steer her away from rash actions. Vaughn's eyes light up at the idea, impressed by Jocelyn's strategic thinking, and agrees it's a brilliant way to maintain control. This moment cements their growing partnership, a synergy that balances Jocelyn's quick wit with Vaughn's cool pragmatism. We're thrilled to see them evolving into a formidable team, but the question lingers, will their pretend romance blur into real feelings under the weight of such high stakes? Chemistry and consequences, will Jocelyn and Vaughn cross the line? As Jocelyn and Vaughn navigate their undercover role, Asher as an eager lab assistant and him as inconspicuous janitor, their unexpected kiss in Dalton's office, initially a mere diversion for Emma's benefit, begins to cast a shadow of possibility over their dynamic. Under the watchful eye of their WSB superior, Jack Brennan, their mission to infiltrate Dalton's lab and uncover his illicit activities remains paramount. Brennan, a man of ruthless efficiency, wouldn't hesitate to endorse any tactic necessary to achieve their goals, even if it means Jocelyn and Vaughn play the part of lovers convincingly. Yet, there's a strong chance he'd draw the line at genuine romance, wary of emotional entanglements clouding their judgment. Still, the chemistry between Jocelyn and Vaughn, though not quite the fiery intensity she once shared with Dex Heller, crackles with a subtle allure evident in stolen glances and lingering touches during their staged interactions. As fans, we can't help but speculate whether this Fox relationship will ignite into something real, pushing them to cross personal and professional boundaries. Their shared glances at the pool hint at an undercurrent of attraction, one that could complicate their mission if indulged. Imagine late-night strategy sessions in a dimly lit safe house, where whispered plans give way to unspoken desires. Could such moments tip the scales? Yet, the risks are monumental. A vengeful Emma, unaware of the broader WSB stakes, could expose their secret in a fit of spite, shattering their cover. Worse still, Anna Devane's keen instincts might sniff out Jocelyn's involvement, ending her fledgling spy career before it truly begins. And then there's Carly Spencer, Jocelyn's fiercely protective mother, currently entangled romantically with Brennan himself. Should Carly uncover Jocelyn's covert role, the fallout could ripple through Port Charles, unveiling a soapy web of secrets and straining family ties. On the flip side, such a revelation might free Jocelyn to explore a real connection with Vaughn, unshackled from the weight of deception. The possibilities are endless, and the tension is deliciously unbearable. The looming storm of secrets in Port Charles. As the June 17th episode of General Hospital approaches, the intricate dance of espionage and emotion promises to keep us glued to our screens. Jocelyn and Vaughn's burgeoning partnership teeters on the edge of romance and ruin, while Emma's scheming threatens to unravel a mission critical to Port Charles's safety. Dalton's guarded secrets loom large, a puzzle that could either unite or destroy those circling his orbit. Will Jocelyn outsmart Emma's vendetta, and can Vaughn maintain his cover within her activist circle? How long before Anna or Carly stumbles upon the truth, sending shockwaves through their lives? Each question adds another layer of suspense to an already gripping storyline. Next, we will dive into the heart-wrenching drama surrounding Willow and Drew as a whirlwind romance races toward a potential wedding disaster in Port Charles. This week's episodes promise a roller coaster of emotions, with secrets, betrayals, and shocking revelations poised to unravel at the very moment vows are meant to be exchanged. From Drew's manipulative schemes to Willow's impending heartbreak, and the desperate interventions of Michael Corinthos and Nina Reeves, we're expanding on every detail with fresh perspectives, imaginative twists, and vivid storytelling to bring you the ultimate preview of this explosive storyline. A hasty proposal and promises of a new beginning. In the quiet glow of a late afternoon at the Quartermain Mansion's Rose Garden, Drew seizes a tender moment to drop to one knee before Willow Corinthos, his eyes gleaming with a mix of hope and urgency. With a small velvet box in hand, he proposes, painting a picture of a future filled with stability and love, a stark contrast to the turmoil of Willow's recent divorce from Michael Corinthos. Now legally free to remarry, Willow is initially swept up in Drew's charm as he insists they shouldn't wait. Pressing for a swift union with a compelling promise, marrying him will be the key to regaining custody of her beloved children, Wiley and Amelia, who have been distanced from her amid bitter legal battles. Drew's voice, smooth as honey, assures her that his influence and resources will turn the tide in her favor, a tempting lifeline for a mother aching to hold her little ones close again. Willow, her heart torn yet yearning for reunion, nods in agreement, swayed by the dream of a family restored, overlooking the subtle undertone of manipulation in Drew's haste. Their decision to rush toward the altar, however, ripples through Port Charles like a shockwave, stirring unease among those who see through Drew's polished exterior. At a cozy corner table in Kelly's diner, Willow shares her news over coffee with a close friend, whose hesitant smile betrays concern. The friend gently probes if Willow is certain about moving so quickly, recalling Drew's history of questionable decisions during past business ventures. Willow brushes off the doubts, clinging to the belief that Drew's intentions are pure, her mind already envisioning a courthouse ceremony in a simple white dress. Yet, as viewers, we can't help but sense the storm brewing beneath this seemingly romantic gesture. Will Willow's trust in Drew prove to be her undoing? Or is there still time for her to see the cracks in his facade before it's too late? Nina Reeves' desperate mission to save her daughter. Across town, Nina Reeves sits in her elegant office at Crimson, her fingers drumming anxiously on the desk as news of Willow and Drew's engagement reaches her ears via a distraught phone call from a mutual acquaintance. Horror washes over her face, her maternal instincts screaming that Drew is the architect of Willow's recent losses, including the heartbreaking separation from her children. Nina had hoped Willow would discern Drew's role in manipulating events that led to her custody woes, perhaps through whispers of his shady dealings that have circulated among Port Charles elites. But with Willow seemingly blinded by love-year desperation, Nina grapples with a gut-wrenching decision. Should she reveal the scandalous truth of her own secret affair with Drew, a passionate lapse that occurred during late-night strategy sessions at the Metro Court? The confession could shatter her fragile bond with Willow forever, yet Nina knows silence might doom her daughter to a life with a man whose morals are as slippery as ice. Torn between protecting her relationship and safeguarding Willow's future, Nina paces her office, memories of her own past mistakes flooding back, times when withholding the truth cost her dearly. She imagines confronting Willow at a quiet park bench near the harbor, the salty breeze carrying her heavy words as she admits to the intimate betrayal with Drew. The risk of losing Willow's trust looms large, but Nina's resolve hardens. She cannot stand by and watch her daughter marry a man whose opportunism knows no bounds. As fans, we're on edge, wondering if Nina will muster the courage for this bombshell revelation or if another force will beat her to the punch, exposing Drew's duplicity before she can speak. Michael Corinthos uncovers damning evidence. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos, nursing a bitter wound from his divorce, isn't content to let Willow slip into Drew's grasp without a fight. At his sleek office in Aurora Media, surrounded by framed family photos that sting with every glance, Michael receives a tip from an old contact about Drew's underhanded tactics. Digging deeper, he uncovers irrefutable proof of Drew's deceit, a wire transfer receipt showing a hefty payment to a receptionist in Germany, bribed to lie to Willow during a critical moment. Claiming Michael refused to meet with her during a pivotal custody negotiation abroad. The document, now clutched in Michael's trembling hands, is a smoking gun, evidence of Drew's ruthless campaign to alienate Willow from her ex-husband and children. Further fueling his fury, Michael learns a second shocking secret from Tracy Quartermain during a tense confrontation at the family estate. Tracy, with her signature bluntness over a glass of vintage scotch, reveals that Nina and Drew shared a clandestine affair, a betrayal that adds another layer of venom to Michael's mission. Armed with these devastating truths, Michael vows to stop the wedding, his mind racing as he envisions storming into the courthouse with the evidence tucked into his jacket pocket. He recalls a recent overheard conversation at the Brown Dog Bar, where Cody Bell and Drew clashed in a heated altercation. Their voices captured on a bystander's phone video clip Michael now possesses, showing Drew's temper and deceit in raw form. Each piece of evidence strengthens Michael's resolve, though a part of him dreads the pain this will inflict on Willow. Will he reach her in time? And can he convince her to see Drew for who he truly is before the rings are exchanged? We're rooting for Michael to save the day, yet brace for the emotional fallout that awaits. A courthouse collision of secrets and shocks. The fateful day arrives as Willow and Drew stand before a judge in the austere Port Charles courthouse. The scent of old wood and anticipation thicken the air. Willow, in a delicate ivory dress borrowed from a friend, clutches a small bouquet of daisies, her nerves masked by a hopeful smile as Drew, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, whispers assurances of a perfect future. And beknownst to the couple, a storm of opposition gathers outside the courtroom doors. Nina, her heart pounding, adjusts her scarf and prepares to barge in, ready to confess her affair with Drew if it means saving Willow from a catastrophic mistake. Simultaneously, Michael strides down the echoing hallway, the damning wire transfer receipt and video evidence burning a hole in his pocket, his face set with grim determination to expose every lie Drew has spun. As the officiant begins the ceremony, asking if anyone objects, the room holds its breath. Nina bursts through the door first, her voice trembling but resolute, only to be interrupted by Michael's commanding entrance before she can utter the full truth. Michael pleads with Willow to listen, warning her of the grave mistake she's about to make. Willow, her eyes flashing with defiance, initially rebuffs him, insisting she won't hear his objections. Undeterred, Michael unleashes the torrent of revelations. He discloses the affair between Nina and Drew, plays the video of Drew's bar fight with Cody, and presents the wire transfer proof of Drew's bribery in Germany to sabotage her perception of Michael. The weight of each betrayal hits Willow like a tidal wave. Her shock morphs into livid rage as Drew stammers excuses, attempting to pin the affair on Nina's seduction and pleading for forgiveness. Willow, her voice breaking, unleashes her fury on both Drew and Nina, her words cutting deep as she condemns their deceit. Willow's heartbreaking realization and final break. In the aftermath of the revelations, Willow's anger gives way to a searing moment of clarity as tears stream down her face in the now silent courtroom. She recalls a heartbreaking conversation with her son Wiley, who had tearfully confided that Drew told him Michael no longer wanted him or Amelia since the arrival of baby Daisy. The memory, once dismissed as a child's misunderstanding, now rings with cruel truth. Turning to Drew, her hand trembling, Willow delivers a stinging slap across his face. Her voice raw as she demands to know how he could stoop so low as to manipulate an innocent child's emotions for his gain. "How could I have been so blind?" she sobs, berating herself for falling for Drew's charade, declaring their relationship and any chance of reconciliation are in an instant. Drew, cornered and desperate, tries one last time to salvage control, his tone shifting to contrition as he begs Willow to see his actions as misguided love. But Willow, bolstered by the painful truth, stands firm, her gaze icy as she turns away, leaving Drew isolated amid the wreckage of his schemes. Her parting words to Nina are equally harsh, a mix of betrayal and disappointment as she processes the double deception from someone she dared to trust as family. As viewers, we ache for Willow's shattered illusions, yet admire her strength in walking away from toxicity. The question remains, can she rebuild her fractured relationships with Michael and her children? And will she ever forgive Nina's role in this mess? The aftermath and unanswered questions in Port Charles. As this dramatic wedding day fiasco unfolds, Port Charles braces for the ripple effects of secrets laid bare. Willow's world has been upended, her trust in Drew obliterated by revelations of manipulation and betrayal. Michael's intervention, though painful, may pave the way for healing, while Nina faces the steep cost of her silence and past indiscretions. Drew, exposed and scorned, must now navigate the fallout of his schemes. Will he seek revenge or attempt redemption? The courthouse showdown leaves us hungry for what's next in Willow's journey, as she grapples with rebuilding her life and protecting her children from further harm. Thank you for joining us at ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for this expansive dive into the upcoming drama. Do you think Willow will fully uncover every layer of Drew's deceit? And how will she mend her broken heart? Can Michael and Willow find common ground for their children's sake? And what fate awaits Nina after her confession? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more General Hospital updates. We'll catch you in the next spoiler session.